the one-man army. It's just me and Denim's helping a little bit, and I appreciate Denim for helping me out. Pinzo versus Simba. We do seem to have a spectator issue. It seems like we will be on the winter map. I can't really do much about that, unfortunately. Perhaps I can toggle the timeline and rewind it. Just another fantastic feature from the Predecessor spectator. Not really much I can do about that, unfortunately. So we're just going to have to bear with it for a little bit. Kind of just following my camera around. Butters on the Yin solo. A little bit surprising. Haven't seen this since the last PCC. Nobody's really been practicing in scrims. Nobody's really been playing it. Kind of a demon pick. A little bit bad into the Acheron, though, I think. You can right-click the Acheron 1, though, the little eyeball. Fix team names. Oh, you're right. Let me fix team names. On the left side, we do have... what is their team name? I forget. On this right side, we do have F8. They are up 0 right now versus, what's their fucking name? Cinema versus Sin.
I'll take the whole team, bro.
Frozen, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. I really appreciate it, too. Thank you for the support. Again, I'm sorry for the spectator issues. There's not really much I can do about that. Unfortunately, that's an Omega issue, but we're going to work through it either way and be on top of it. Denim, if you're in here, can you ask one of them for the match ID for the second game so we don't have the same issue after their game is over? If you don't mind. Cinema gonna get bricked. We'll see. You're on there. I mean, it's not their fault. Like, don't bother them in the game. But if possible, if we could get it for the next game. That's on me. I should have let them know beforehand. Oh, I forgot to get my exclusive co-caster online. Hold on. We got a surprise guest for this one. Surprise guest, Big Steve, coming out of retirement, coming here to watch this set with me. Going to give me a little bit of a vocal break, as I might need that, considering we got a long set ahead of us, including semifinals up next after this, and then finals after that.
The party's
Hell yeah. I'm here for you, big dog. Don't you worry. I'm here with this deep voice and just for you. I combed my mustache as well to make sure we got a good cast for you.
So, Steve, how are we feeling about the day? How have we been enjoying the broadcast? How have we been enjoying the games today? How are you feeling?
Honestly, man, I think the last match had me going. I mean, I think all of it was there. I mean, get to see Kev kind of just come out of his shell back in ADC, but I mean, hold on a second.
We see Maguli going in here, has the ult. Wango a little bit low. Mercy is here for the gank, though. Flashes in onto Maguli. Maguli did dash in. No dash to get away. First blood going the way of Chicken on the controller.
That's just a absolute great rotation there from Mercy. You know he's going to go to the gank other than farm. So
Mercy sitting on the fog wall. Classic Mercy play. Stealing the wave. Clearly been taking notes from the stream. Frozen, thank you again for another 5. You absolute legend. That's why your fucking cock is so goddamn large. Thank you for the subs, man. I really appreciate it. Game Day Mercy here coming up to the seedling. Hasn't reset yet, though. Kofi might have. Kofi does have the back off. Preston, thank you for the follow. Kev, how are you thinking about this game so far? Seedling going the way of Mercy. Feng Mao on Kofi, one of his best picks. But it is a little bit slow in the jungle. Can't really do objectives by yourself. Can't do seedlings. Can't do Fang Tooths. What are your thoughts on these drafts?
I think it's pretty good, man. I really do like this draft coming out of the side of Cinema. I feel like it speaks to how they kind of want to play.
Kofi dashing in on Mercy. Mercy, no flash available. Kofi looking for the kill, dodges the tether, ends up getting the kill, resets his dash. He should be out of there. +1 stack for Kofi. Mercy making a little bit of a misplay, taking a little bit too much damage from that seedling. Sorry, Steve, I did not mean to cut you off, but we had some action going on, and I just had to cover it.
Oh, you're all good, bud. That's what casting's about, baby. I mean, Yin's also looking a little bit scary, but Kofi, that's the Feng Mao for you, man. I mean, just being able to utilize that mobility whenever you want, and then Mercy, you know, doing Mercy things, getting a little bit too aggressive and confident when he shouldn't be.
Only Weary, thank you for the 5 gifted. I really appreciate it. Welcome back to the Bird Nest, those 5 individuals. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate you guys. It has been phenomenal today, absolutely insane. Kofi getting seedling, mid lane going down, Pinzo Dunzo going back to the base. Muriel locked in here. First time we've seen Muriel today. Simba playing the Fae, probably the best mid laner in the game. Did not see that in either of the first 2 sets. A little bit surprising. We haven't really seen her make an appearance yet. Would highly expect this pick to be contested and or banned in the finals and semifinals. Very strong pick right now. Maybe you feel just don't play it. I'm not sure, but this pick is incredible at the moment.
No, I definitely agree with you there. I mean, just a strong all-out pick. We're definitely going to see a lot of focus on either trying to get that first pick or just trying to get out of the way. I think that's really going to be the mind game playing around that hero throughout the rest of this tourney. But it's really something I want to take a second to think about is Simba versus Pinzo here. Simba picking up that Fae that I know you've been talking about all day, and I feel like I agree with you. That character is kind of busted right now, and I feel like once this rotation towards Fangtooth is going to go ahead here, looks like both teams are going to head that way. She's going to be a pretty important factor with all of those flowers heading those way.
Yeah, interesting to see here. We do see BKB going the push augment. Fangtooth pulled here by Pinzo's team. Cinema trying to look to make a scene on this objective. Gonna be secured. Not sure who stole that one, or who secured that one. The smite was definitely not hit. Pinzo ulting into 2. Only hits 1. They flash away. 1 HP on Feng Mao. He does go down. Maguli picks up 2. Mercy stuck in the pit. Not going to be able to get out of this one. Pinzo full HP, watching his team die. Not sure what we're doing there, but we're definitely not playing with our HP bar. Going to go down after anyways. Gets pulled by the Fae. You cannot portal out of the Fae range anymore. You do get pulled back, and he goes down. Simba not even ulting in the pit for that team fight, and easily won from the side of F8. Looking a little bit easy here. Fiki, aka OKC, looking to gank Butters, perhaps, if he pushes up a little bit too much. Shilla Ubu, thank you for the follow. Isaac, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for the support. Hope you guys are enjoying the games today.
I mean, that fight was just incredible. Yeah, Pinzo, I don't know what he was doing there. I think it was spectator value, a little bit scared of the KDA. Don't want to drop too much in front of all these people. But Simba, Bemba coming out with the fly trap. Like you were saying, torn space no longer. You can't get away from it. So it was just easy, slim pickings, and a just great one fight there. But it's going to be Cinema that is going to be the ones that picked up that Fangtooth. So it's kind of like, hey, we got the objective, but at the same time, we lost pretty much everybody into that fight.
Yeah, not sure that's like a good trade. You do get the Fangtooth though, at least, but you trade 4 for 1. Not exactly great. Feng Mao also getting some extra stacks there. Does end up having 3 now. Should have half his passive ready. Gonna be snowballing a little bit faster now that he actually has some extra power, able to actually clear, potentially even do objectives by himself. Usually very difficult to do objectives as Feng Mao. He doesn't really have the same amount of sustain that some of the other junglers do, but struggling a little bit in this one.
Little bit, but that's okay, right? Because we talk about Feng Mao and his stacks, especially since the change a little bit while back. Once he gets those online, he's kind of just scaling through that, and like you said, he already has 2, so that's already a big problem for this side of Cinema. He has to watch out there. Yin, also a little bit of a scaling character. He's going to have a little bit of a trouble trying to get into this game, especially being played inside the off lane. So I'm a little bit worried about her being able to, she's going to split push. Is she going to rotate around to these fights like we just saw? That's really one of the biggest factors for me.
Yeah, we do see Kofi coming in for the river buff. We're looking for a gank on the mid. Pinzo does have flash and portal. Going to be kind of hard to gank. Mercy pulling mini prime. Doesn't have prio in mid. Does have prio in solo from the Yin. Seedling going the way of Kofi. Muriel starting the rotation over. Does have ult up. Might be able to contest this objective if they know that they're on it. Faye does seem to know now. Mercy on the objective still. 3k HP. Going to get off. A little bit of a waste of his time there as the support is rotating over with the jungler. Going to be a pull from F8 maybe. Again, not really able to solo objectives as Feng Mao because you don't really have the sustain, but with the Muriel shields kind of mitigates that a bit, so you can actually take objectives for free. Going to go down here for the side of F8. See if they give that one over to somebody else. Kofi does smite it. Mercy is threatening the steal, so he does have to secure that objective. Not able to give it over the Acheron like he would have liked, but what can you do? Tower plates going down. A little bit of tower damage taken from them, but they do get the objective.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you kind of want, at least get an objective back on the board for yourself. That way, so tied 1-1 in kind of a way. But like you said, the Acheron doesn't get it, so he's not able to really get the prio inside that offlane like he wanted to. But something that I like what OKC is doing right now is kind of helping out the mid laner here, rotating in. Wangle's not going to be able to do
might
too
be able to
much
just put Wangle down here if he gets a little bit of an ult. He should just be able to 2 ult. Might not have enough mana for it, but Faye, with this augment on the 2 reset, able to actually just slam her 2s on like a 2-second cooldown, easily able to take out tanks like Wangle right now. Even at this stage of the game, I'm surprised he didn't go for that play. Not sure why. Maybe he just didn't think he had enough mana to finish the kill.
Yeah, just maybe a confidence issue there over here in the first 10 minutes, but definitely expect him to get a little bit more confident throughout the game, especially throughout the tournament as he's trying to get along here. But look at this left-hand side.
Drongo going down. Maguli getting another kill there. 2 of the more favorited teams here kind of getting looking a little bit one-sided for F8. Probably the favorites going in. They did win the last PCC. They are the reigning champs of the last tournament, basically. Pinzo's team has been Mercy coming out of retirement. Also a champion in the past, has won 2 PCCs in the past. Trying to carry this roster of ex-Rogue players with Chicken to a ring in this tournament, but not quite able to do it. Maybe a little bit too much retirement.
It took too long of a break, but the second Fangtooth is up now. They already got that pick, so the tempo is in favor of a Fade. As you can see, the first one's on it. Mercy just a little bit caught out, though. He can't get too much prio here. Acheron with the rotation, Yin on the right lane. This one should be pretty free here, Soul.
Fangtooth gonna go down again for the side of F8. Not again, sorry. Their first Fangtooth, actually. Chicken might get caught out here. Getting poked under tower. Maguli putting pressure on that ass. Chicken controller not helping him this game. Fang Mao looking for the kill, actually gets it, gets the dash reset, able to get out of tower. Just flash up. Mercy on the other side of the map, not able to punish. Fang gonna be able to get a blue buff invade if they have timer. Fiki does look like he has timer on it, so they are gonna go for it. Should be free. Mercy kind of getting starved here a little bit.
And he's going to try and replicate this with a vertical jungling here, looking for that blue. And good thing it is going to be up. So he should be able to at least trade some of that farm back into his direction. But he's going to have to hope that the Yin kind of keeps that prio onto that lane against that Acheron. So he's able to pick this up, able to get some farm back. But like you said, he is kind of starving. He's trying to find farm somewhere. But it's just his FA team just rolling around everywhere else, just making it just so hard for him.
We do see a 4,000 gold lead for the side of F8 right now. Kind of just the slow squeeze right now. 800 gold differential in support. 2,600 differential in the duo lane. Sorry, 1,600. I can't read. Math is not my strong suit. 900 in the jungle. 1,000 in mid lane. Solo lane's pretty even, but every other role kind of getting gapped right now. Down about a half item. Maguli getting ganked. Muriel here to help.
Looks like to be safe though. It's going to be popped out all here on Morn, but it's going to be the side of Wangle that's getting a little bit aggressive here. Soul is probably going to go down because Maguli picks that one up, but there's going to be a full tower dive here incoming.
Chicken trying to get the last hit. He does have Vanquisher. Maguile's got to be a little careful. Getting so low. They do get the tower. See if they get the gold though. No gold off the tower at least. Chicken gonna back up and actually give them the plates. Fiki probably gonna go pick those up. A little bit of a mistake by Chicken to allow them to get that extra gold.
Yeah, I don't think you allow for Maguli to step up, especially when you have Vank first item. You're looking to capitalize on those very close kills. He should have all the confidence, especially heading into that. There's not too much that Maguli can do when you have those red rounds popped and you have that Vanquisher. But with the pressure that they saw from the Feng Mao rotating in, that was a little bit troublesome. But Pinzo is going to be the one in trouble.
Pinzo getting Don on here. Just dies to the Feng Mao. Feng Mao expanding his flash. And ultimate for that kill. Does secure it. That's a free stack for Kofi, although I think he already had the mid lane, if I'm not mistaken. Pinzo 0-3 in this game. Simba 2-0-4. Kofi 4-1. Definitely like a little bit of a mid-jungle gap here. Maguli also putting Belt to Ass in the dual lane 4-1. Definitely a little bit of a backline diff right now. From the side of F8. Kofi just where he needs to be, when he needs to be there, securing kills. A little bit of a gank on the duo lane. Chicken gets tower. Gonna die to BKB here. Not really much you could do about it. At least he gets some gold from the tower.
He does get the gold, but I mean, at what cost, right? But it's going to be Maguli that's going to also end up helping out the Acheron, right? Keeping Prio inside of his lane, not letting the Yin be able to kind of do anything in that aspect, picking up that kill as well. So I mean, right now FA is just rolling with it. They have the tempo, and I mean that's like the biggest thing in every single MOBA is to be able to create that tempo. And like you said, it's all throughout the Feng Mao and all throughout
Just
the
see a little gank on the Maguli, doesn't get the knockup. Cleanse by Maguli is good. Looks for the dash, blocked by Mercy though. Big damage coming out. The Muriel ult on top, mitigating a lot. Pinzo with the ult onto 2. Maguli flashes forward, looking for the trade. Just going to be a 1-for-1. Good trade, though, as they get the shutdown. You also have to keep in mind, Chicken might have died, but he was 1-3. Not really worth any gold. So, not as good as it could have been. Pinzo portaling out. Wangle stuck in the fight. Going to get ulted by Faye probably if needed. Might be looking for the double. Pull him into tower, though. Good stasis, though. Blocks the Gideon Rock. Should die to the Gideon Q, though. No Gideon Q on top for some reason. Not sure why that is. I feel like that guy should have definitely died coming off that stasis there.
No, 100%. He should have died there, but, you know, misclick.
Perhaps it was on cooldown still, but I don't think it should have been.
You know, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but Simba does get out of dodge. Wangle needs to be careful here, but it's going to be the side of F8. They're going to be like, hey, we have Prio. We're just going to go after this.
But you look on the other side of the map, Butters hitting the Shaper, going to at least trade out this objective. Slightly better trade, I think, for the side of Cinema, as I think the Shaper is worth more gold than a Mini Prime, especially since there's only one tier 1 tower up, and it's going to be kind of hard to siege in general since it is a Yin over there. She can just clear waves very quickly. Not sure that's a good trade for the side of F8. A little bit of a mistake, maybe. Good heads-up play by Butters to pick that objective up while they're on Mini Prime.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a better trade for Cinema, but when you have such a lead, I kind of feel like it's kind of okay for them to make this small little mistake. But I want to see how Butter's going to utilize this, because you're seeing him go back towards the off lane. Meanwhile, Acheron's coming to mid here, and they're going to have the numbers advantage on the side of F8 going into this next Fang Tooth.
We do see them looking to pull it immediately. Butter's not here yet. Should be making a big impact in this game. Interesting to note, BKB does have the push augment, so you can actually push the Yin out of her ultimate, so she can't just stand in that. Maybe an interesting counter pick. I know BKB likes that augment in general, but I wonder if it's more matchup specific now, or if he just decides to go that every single game still. But it does seem pretty good in this game.
I feel like BKB kind of does whatever feels good for him. So I think he just understands how to play that augment, and he's going to be able to utilize it. But here comes that FA team. They are ready. They're going to be starting to pull this next Fang 2, trying to get their second of the game.
BKB jumping in, going to get a push on it too. I do think big ult by Pinzo onto 3, gets 2, gonna kill 3 for free. Big ult by Pinzo. Dunzo gonna get pick up 3 boys, gonna be 4, gonna be 5. Full team wipe off the back of the Gideon ult. Absolutely massive combo there. Muriel ulting in with the DoorDash on the Gideon ult. Absolutely massive combo there coming out from the mid laner. Definitely turning this game around. Was not looking good for the side of Cinema, but finally decided to actually have something happen there.
We finally played together is what I saw throughout that fight. I mean, they're actually making this a movie.
I do think their team comp is a little weird. They don't really have anybody that can walk in easily. You don't really want your jungler to be the first one walking in, especially as a full damage Kwong. So it's kind of based on just the ult from Wangle, kind of their only real engage. Other than that, you kind of have Pinzo forcing the ult on top, which can be a little bit risky. But on the flip side, FA also struggling from the same problem. Their only front line is a full damage Acheron. Does die very fast. Same with the Feng Mao. Also dies very quickly. Very squishy character. They do have Muriel shields on top to help a little bit more than I think the other team does, but their engage is kind of weak. Basically just BKB slamming in there, jumping on 3, and then pushing and dying, just like the last team fight.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I'd rather take the Morn over the Muriel here with the shields, just because of that just eclipse, right? Just being able to take people's vision out of the game is really crucial, especially around those objective fights. And I think it came in hand as well over that Fang fight, is just to be able to kind of get everybody be like, oh man, where am I going? And creating the verticality of the Gideon ult to kind of just create a little bit more commotion on the map, being like, do I have to look up? Do I have to stay on the ground? So I mean, it's still slightly in their favor, but they're going to need another big win for them to really catch back up to this FA side.
Yeah, for sure. They are a little bit more even in gold now, only down about 2k. It is interesting to note that due to the fact that BKB does have this push augment, he does not get value off the Muriel ult. So theoretically, you would want to suck them in, bring them into you so they get knocked up by the Muriel ult. But because he has the push augment in that last fight, he pushed them away from himself, and the Muriel didn't knock up anybody, getting 0 value other than the shield. I don't know if that's a little bit of a mistake by BKB to have the push augment. While it still is good into the yin, you kind of are anti-synergistic with your support, not quite able to get the pull into the knockup.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big turnaround. So you have to adjust the entire kind of play style around that character, what is kind of intended for. So now Muriel has to kind of pick somebody else to ult. So you're 100% correct there on where that's going to be a factor. Hopefully it's going to be BKB being able to kind of just get into that fight, push people inside of a corner. Then the Feng Mao gets in there, and that's where the Muriel could ult in. And Feng Mao starts to get a little bit more shielded protection for that dive that he's vulnerable in without having a lot of HP.
We see Simba looking for Mercy, doesn't quite get the ult pull. Mercy dropping off the ledge, breaking tether. A little bit of a waste from Simba. No anti-heal on the side of F8 here. You do have, what's it called? You actually have literally 0 anti-heal. Not even a Tainted Blade or anything. They actually, oh, I guess you have Tainted Trident, but it's also on your Assassin. I think I would have preferred to see Blade so you don't get one shot. I would love to see a Tainted Scepter or perhaps a Tainted Blade coming off of BKB since he has that big AoE damage, maybe even a Tainted Scepter on him instead. You could really go either or. No Tainted rounds coming out of Maguli. Not that crazy considering he's playing Eden, but really 0 anti-heal into a Morn, not exactly something that you want to see. Also into Kwong, does end up getting some lifesteal. Pinzo looking for a kill here on Maguli. Maguli gets his ult off, gonna immune some damage, gonna go down here probably. They'll flash out. Wangle flashes in, misses the mez, gets the pull though, ends up shutting down Maguli. Maguli, a little bit of an int play. Wishing he had Peek in support right now because Fiki just kind of watched him die there. Not that he could have helped him, but you never know. Peek be doing some shit and he be getting you out of some stuff that you probably shouldn't be getting out of. Or Prime looking to be aggroed here.
I don't think they're gonna be able to have the situation and kind of just pull it randomly just due to the fact that Akron's pushing up that solo lane. They still got to find a way here to get them positioning. The lane is really kind of just messing them up right now because they're also going to have to answer dual lane here in a bit. So they have to be a little bit worrisome, especially with the big orb Prime.
Yeah, I agree with you here, Steve. They do have bad wave prowler. The wave is also pushing against them in the dual lane. Probably going to send the Morn over there. He does have the global ultimate, so it's a little bit easier for him to impact the team fight even if he's not there. Just kind of taking the little wins, trying to catch back up to this game. They are still down about 1,500 gold, but they have been closing this gap. At one point in this game, they were down about 6,000 gold, so nice to see them close that gap a little bit, getting a little bit more of a competitive game off that one team fight throw from F8. Trying to pull the Shaper here. They do know the Gideon is in left as they see him on the map. Should probably be free for F8, but might not be as free as you might think.
Yeah, no, Mercy's definitely going to poke around here and try and get something, but great kind of job there by F8 to kind of just push him out at the last little bit there. So they do have the Shaper buff. Gideon did set that lane though, so now it's going to be side of F8 has to kind of set their lanes up, then look back at this. But I mean, we're at the late stage here, so it's going to be Primordial Fangtooth and Big Orb Prime up at the same time.
The one benefit here to the side of F8 is while the wave is against them, it is on Primal's side, so that's kind of the side they would want to be on anyways. If the other team wants to pull Orb, they're more than happy to trade a Fangtooth for that, as Primal Fang is typically stronger than Orb Prime.
That is the team fighting buff, and 100% want to have that, especially with your team just trying to get there and just burst everybody down. But still, there's a decision to be made, and they have to kind of group up here and get themselves in a better position. Because right now, everybody on the side of F8 is kind of all over the map trying to get different things, and I feel like they should be starting to group up here in a little bit after they set these waves up.
You see Pinzo electing to go 0 cooldown. I'm going to go Amulet of Chaos, one of the newer items in the game. Also see Mercy going Transference. Not sure I agree with that, but he is kind of solo frontline walking in. So maybe that's why he decided to build it. Not really getting much value in this game. 1-3. Maybe he just goes, I'm going to build tank. Not able to really do much here. Butters building for the split push 1v1. Against the Akron makes a lot of sense. Still, no anti-heal coming out. We see Simba going into Oblivion Crown. Again, I think this is a little bit of a mistake not to have Tainted Scepter in this build. Kofi looking to go into Mesmer next item. No percent penetration, but they are against a very squishy team comp to begin with, so I don't hate it. Maguli also electing to go straight into Imperator and skipping percent pen for some reason. Chicken with the Draconum. Interesting pickup here from Chicken, getting a little bit of defense to stop the one-shot from Kofi. Doesn't really help you against the Akron as most of his damage is magical. Interesting pickup here from Chicken.
Yeah, it's very interesting indeed, but I still think the most interesting is the lack of anti-heal coming out of Simba there, because like you pointed out, the Dracona, then you got a Spirit of Ramir on the Kwang. He's building a little bit tankier now, and let's not forget the late game Yin. I mean, she's just gonna lifesteal away, so you kind of want that on everybody as much as possible to be able to mitigate all that. And if Yin keeps going this way with no anti-heal, she's going to start to become a menace, especially just right about this time, because you're seeing the Acheron not really even being able to kind of pry any type of that lane when she's there.
Yeah, we do see Acheron getting pressured a little bit. The Morna is sitting over here, maybe looking for a little pick. Both objectives are up. Kofi on this side of the map. We see a 4-man grouping from the blue team. On this right side, Chicken left alone. On Fang side, Maguli going to push that wave. Just going to be a little bit of a reset, a little bit of a positional battle here as we try to get a little bit of advantage here, a little bit of advantage there, maybe find a pick. Not too much going to go on here until somebody dies or makes a mistake. Maguli playing very far up, looking for Chicken maybe. Is pretty far ahead of Chicken, so can definitely get the 1v. Chicken down about 2,000 gold right now. Not doing great. On the flip side, mid lane, Pinzo up 1,200 gold. So a little bit of a trade-off there, but the rest of the team not doing well for Cinema right now. They're all a little bit even or behind other than the mid lane.
Yeah, and then Acheron just sets wave, so somebody's going to have to answer that eventually onto the right-hand side. Looks like both teams are playing around the Primordial Fangtooth a little bit more at this time of the match, but like you said, we're stuck in this loop of somebody trying to figure out the better position here, try and get a pick, and try and look for something while setting these lanes. So it's pretty awfully quiet until we see that pick happen, or somebody makes that big mistake showing up on the opposite side of the map and then gives the other team a numbers advantage to take those fights.
We do see an interesting pickup from Butters on the Exodus, getting the grenade augment to try to cancel the Acheron ult. Since it is a hard CC and does stun for 0.1 seconds, it will cancel the Acheron ult. Interesting tech into the matchup. I would actually love to see Cinema look to pull an objective and just have Butters solo it, basically. With the Yin, you can lifesteal objectives. Even without Hunt, you can just solo them and then have his team play the corner and look for the fight. I think that would be a great play here from them. Butters, a little bit of trouble here by himself. Maguli getting engaged on half HP. Muriel on top, dies. DoorDash POV in the duo lane right now. Fiki not having a good time. Has to flash away. Does live, though. Flash by Chicken. Picks up that one with Vank. Actually, he doesn't have Vank. It just picks it up. Oh, no, he does have Vank. I'm looking at the wrong person. Butters does go down, though. Simba, ulted by Gideon, able to stasis, flashes away. BKB still alive. Big combo by by Simba. Misses the ult, though. Gets Chicken. 2 for 2 so far. Good return by F8 in a position that they probably shouldn't have been able to get any return kills in. A little bit of a mistake by Cinema playing a little bit too long in the lane. Simba with the good stasis. Did miss ult. Chicken flash in for the kill on Muriel. Maybe not the play. Maybe holding flash up so we don't die would have been better, but 2 for 2 trade. Not much going on. Just going to reset. Waves pushing in favor of F8 in the solo lane. Mercy's going to have to back. They do get a free pick onto Acheron at the tier 2. Wangle and Pinzo combining for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I like the way the waves were set up there. I mean, they just took such a long engagement there on the side of this Cinema team. They could have gotten that pick, kind of reset themselves to look for a bigger objective, but they kind of just kept going, trying to hope they get a wipe there. But I think that was just like their big mistake on that part. Like you said, Chicken flashing in, not realizing that he might be putting himself in a bad position, and now we're back to that wave state of just, hey, we're stuck here. We have to wait for Jungle, we have to wait for Acheron, we have to wait for all of these things to line right back up like they did before, and now we have less resources than we did within the start of that fight.
We do have a little bit of a power play here, as BKB did stagger his death an extra 40 seconds, so he is still down for 20. Could look for a play here. Kofi looking for a pick maybe on to Mercy. Does catch a Mercy a little bit tanky, has the transference. A little bit more of a bruiser build here. Ends up still getting gone on, forced to flash away. Kofi putting some damage out. Just going to be a 1-for-1. Nothing too crazy. Mercy does get his flash burn, though. Going into his physical defense. We do see Maguli going down here in the enemy blue side. Not sure what he's doing there other than throwing the game away. I think he got confused and thought that was his own jungle. I don't know. He must have played Dawn side in the last game. Not sure why we're standing there. Or Prime going to be picked up by F8. Good response to the Primal being pulled. At least they get the 1-for-1 trade here, but I don't know what Maguli is doing other than trying to lose this game.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a horrific play. That's a Maguli moment. But the thing I like about F8 is they still play strategic with that lane. They kind of pushed all the lanes up. So there's not too much. It's going to take a little bit of time away from that Primordial Blaze.
They do also lose Shaper, though, so double objective going the side of Cinema. Maguli looking a little bit more like a Magoofball right now, literally intentionally trolling the game. For zero reason. In fact, I'm actually getting a call from production right now. Hold on. Let me pick this one up, Steve. It is being confirmed. Chicken has PayPal'd Maguli $20 to throw the game after getting absolutely belted in the lane. Maguli, $20 in his pocket, decided this game was not worth it. He'll win the next two. $20 in his pocket, straight from Chicken to the PayPal. We had this on production, screenshotted and everything. He is PayPal to lose this game.
So Maguli, I'm gonna need at least a 5 from that because now you're just messing up with the entertainment value here. But yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to stop that because that's only 1% of the big prize pool you got going on here, Big Joseph. And I don't think that's worth it in my opinion.
You know, I don't think it's worth it either, but it is only for one game. It does say one game per $20, so we'll see if he gets another 20 for the next one, but this one's not looking good so far. We'll see if they can bring this one back. Kofi trying to put in overtime to make up for Magoofball inting his brains out in the dual lane. Did get the better of Chicken in the early game, maybe feeling himself a little bit too much. Definitely has ran it down the last few games, or the last few fights.
It definitely has. They do have Primordial Blaze here with the Frozen Shaper here, so they do have an opportunity to push
Butters over here against BKB. I expect her will not let me swap. Butters healing the Acheron ult. Acheron 1 HP, getting shielded. DoorDash POV on Muriel potentially. Big damage coming out of Pinzo onto Mercy. Or, sorry, onto Feng Mao. Pinzo dashes in, ends up picking up the Acheron. Healing himself a little bit. A little bit of a throw here from F8. They were up like 13-3, so the fact that they're throwing this game a little bit grief, in my opinion. Mercy does pick up the Muriel. 2,000 gold. F8 still up 2,500 gold. They're actually still in the lead, even though they are losing. Wave Cryo going for them into a lane. Wangle does int. He's got the rebirth, though. New technology. He's going to respawn here. Faye getting gone on. Stasis by Mercy. Stasis by the Faye. Ends up being a double kill. Or two people dying, at least. This should be a game. I don't think Kofi can really defend this one. He is Feng Mao. If there is a pick that can do it, it could be Feng Mao. The pentakill champion. He does just get insta-ulted by the Gideon and then Stasis for some reason. Yeah, well, we see F8 throwing that one a little bit. 3-13. Maguli trying as hard as possible to lose the game. A bit of an interesting choice.
Yeah, I mean, there was 3 different moments that Maguli just over pushed inside of a lane. And first of all, what are you doing inside of a blue buff? That's not yours. It's kind of criminal. But you know what they say: you win some, you lose some. And Cinema coming out on top there was actually just pure Cinema.
Perhaps putting the Faye in the back pocket. Rampage, first time we're actually seeing this led through picks and bans in a game. Has been banned every other game. Butters on the Acheron this time instead of against it. BKB on the Shimby. Mercy on the Severog, his patented pick, his best pick probably. Known to be one of the only players to actually play it in the jungle, even though I think it's pretty good. But not sure how he'll perform in this one. He is against the Rampage, also a little bit of a slower tempo jungler, but he does pick up pretty quick in that mid game.
Yeah, it definitely does pick up pretty quick. I think the big thing here for the side of F8 is they're going to have to utilize that Rampage to really cause some commotion, and with that Bale to kind of just send up either the Argus or that Yin into kind of a bad spot, or if you can get like a big team ultimate to where they can just drop down that Gideon portal to be able to just get everybody inside of one little tight area, I think they're going to be able to come out on top with that. But we're going to see how that plays out. I'm still a little bit worried about that Yin versus that Eden. It's going to be a little bit of a weird matchup.
Yeah, we do see Maguli back on the Eden. Very strong in the lane, but definitely inted a bit in the late game. Try to do a little bit too much. Let's see if we can do a little bit better in the late game on this one. We'll see if Simba actually builds some anti-heal this game. Wango back on the Morn. Probably his best support pick right now. Not sure why we're giving that up. Honestly, I would have probably banned it after that last game. But there's a lot of stuff that you could ban right now, and it's kind of hard to really decide what's best and what's not. Especially when teams are playing kind of these weird flex picks like Yin, where you can flex it into solo, you can flex it into jungle, etc. So it's kind of hard to read what people might actually play. I do think just banning the Morin specifically because it's mostly put into the support, just takes away a little bit of the drafts. You can't really stop them from playing other stuff elsewhere.
Yeah, a little bit more mental games would have been nice here. Butters, do you need to be careful? He knows that Kofi is onto that side, but he does have the wave into his favor where he can just be next to his tower. Sevarog, though, this is a champion that we know Mercy loves to enjoy, and Mercy on a Sevarog right now, especially the way how this Sevarog likes to scale, the way he just got fine-tuned is going to be pretty exceptional as for him inside that mid game. So I really want to see how he's able to perform, especially we know Mercy likes to play tanks and likes to be that big body, so he's able to sustain himself into those fights. But it's the dual lane here that looks like they might possibly be able to get a kill. Bale is low, but here comes that healing, but not going to be too much as they're able to fall back into their tower line. And Ghoulie and OKC just have to take this one, hopefully push this wave and take a reset and get themselves ready for this mid delay battle. But Wangle actually hits a big pull here, might be able to get a kill here on Chicken as he hits the reflect, going back after OKC. 1 HP to Dreams, able to get out of Maguli, turns the fight and is looking back at it, but not able to pick something up. But here comes that ultimate and bing, bang, boom. He's able to capture one, and here comes Mercy though. Rock, F8, Kofi on the counter gank here. He's going to look to try and turn this Maguli. I don't think you want to stay in this fight. OKC got to back up, but that's going to be first blood. Put him on the board. It's going to be F8 to strike first on this one.
Yeah, we do see Maguli pick that up. Similar to the last game, getting a little bit of the win in duo lane. Hopefully he doesn't throw that one away for $20 again. But, you know, I couldn't blame him. $20 is $20. I just know Chicken is upset about that one. Wangle going down, not quite able to get the trade. It is what it is. Chicken starting the game from behind again. Kofi stopping the trade with the rock.
What up, Soul Reaper?
That was a good gank, right? Just being able to understand, like, hey, I can't make it, guys, but I'm still going to rotate to be able to capitalize on making sure you get out. So that's a huge rock there, huge play, because Mercy was definitely looking for that kill. And it's going to be Kofi. He's going to be the one that gets the first seedling here onto this side of the map. But BKB says he's not going to let that one go for free. Still waiting on level 6s, though, across the board. The first Fangtooth coming up here in the next 15 seconds or so. And like you said, with that first blood, Maguli should be the one controlling the tempo in this lane, especially with that range advantage.
We do see the double dash in, looking for some poke here.
Gideon coming in.
They do have some heals. Gideon on the lurk, getting spotted on the ward from the mid lane. Both mid to left turn back to farming. Kofi on the 5 will have prio onto this Fangtooth as he gets the back and go to 4. Mercy still has to collect his 3. This could open up an opportunity. They do have prio in the duo lane. Mid lane's kind of even. This could be a Fangtooth opportunity here.
It could be. Maguli halfway on his ultimate, though. It's going to be Chicken getting aggressive again, but chooses to back up. But Maguli
trying to get that last hit. Should be able to get it with the ultimate. Actually, great tower dive by Maguli, understanding how much damage he needs to get his ultimate. Understanding that he can secure that kill and actually able to get that. They're looking for a Fangtooth here. Maguli going to try to maybe hit over the wall. Has to be a little careful of Wangle maybe looking for a trade or something. Wangle does have flash up. Or sorry, that's ultimate. Wangle does have ult. This could be very fightable. They are kind of low. Wangle trying to buy time.
Mercy is still looking.
Portal out from Gideon. Free Fangtooth on the side of F8. Up 2-0 right now. Kind of in a commanding position right now. Mercy just a little bit slower this game on the Sevarog than he was last game. But we saw something very similar last game. F8 up 13-3. Did end up throwing the game at a Fangtooth fight and lost off of it basically. As they basically threw the game away.
Mercy looking for Maguli here with a tower dive and end up getting him, but he's such in a bad position all the way between a tier 2 and a tier 1. They should be able to pick up this kill, or maybe not. Oh, they do end up picking up there, and that's going to be Sevarog down. Mercy does go out there just to get the kill, but you know what? You get somebody, it's a slight, not even a big shutdown. You just get a little bit extra goal because he was 2-0, but it's the first Fangtooth over towards the side of F8, and they still maintain that kill lead. But Mercy trying to keep this team alive, getting a little bit of hope here, getting them a slight kill, but that's okay. It's coming on back into lane. It's not too far yet where they can really take down a tower. Still have the plates on, still looking for something else. The mini prime, though, is going to be the play here next up for both of these teams. They're going to have to try and control this mid lane. It looks like it's going to be Shinbi controlling that off lane, being able to get a reset here. Maybe FA can keep this tempo up to be able to go after this mini prime, get it on Shinbi to really pressure out that Acheron, keep the lane prio.
Maguli going in here, gonna pick up Wangle in the dual lane. OKC missing the ult. Mercy is here, gonna get OKC into tower. He will go down here. Chicken gonna get that one. Mercy giving it, actually Mercy trying to give it away. Chicken 2 ran out. Mercy ends up picking up the kill. Kofi not responding with the mini prime immediately. A little bit surprising there. 1-for-1 trade, support for support. Probably better for the side of Cinema as they are a little bit behind in the dual lane. A trade there is probably beneficial for them. Chicken still down like 700 gold. Is level 6 before Maguli though, so he's up a little bit in XP.
Yeah, just a little
looking
bit
to
there.
steal that 2 camp away from Mercy. Mercy in shambles, upset right now, might even panic flash because he is angry. Good play by Simba to come up there and steal that.
What is it about junglers and their 2 camps? I don't know, man. I feel like it's just everybody.
Maguli getting gone on here
camp.
by Chicken. Wangle's here as well. Chicken trying to trade here. Looking for some damage. OKC is back. Chicken in trouble. Maguli looking to dash in. Chicken might die to dot damage. Not quite able to find it. Chicken ends up flashing out of there. Acheron versus Shinbi. Shinbi kind of low here. Interesting, Butters went full tank this game and is actually winning the trade against the Shinbi. Not something I would have expected. Does he get him with the heal? Oh my god, the plays, and he dies to minions. A 1-for-1 trade for the side of Soul Laner. Simba's with the kill on the Pinzo. Going back to the base. A little bit of help. Actually, 0 help from Kofi, it looks like. No, Kofi was there for the kill. Kofi actually secures that one. Simba with the assist. Pinzo going back to the base. Dual lane, a little bit more action here. OKC trying to get the kill on the Chicken. Get this wave on her tower.
The party's this way.
Yeah, I wish Butters would have flashed a little bit further away from the minions there, but he kind of flashed or blinked right back into the minion aggro, so does find that last little range tick. So 1-for-1 trade, but like you said, didn't expect him to win that trade, but he ended up did, so I give him the respect of being able to get the kill first. But like you said, he lost the boot buff there on the side of Mercy, and he is definitely not in the right place where he needs to be as a jungler. He's getting his blue side invaded. He's getting his 2 camps stolen by the Gideon here on Simba. Not too much that he can do. And now it's going to be the seedling here being contested. But Mercy picks that one up.
Mercy almost 2 full levels down. Kofi about to take up to level 6. Mercy just hit level 7 off that seedling. OKC on the Pinzo. Not really able to find much. Mercy ults him into tower. Good route. Should be a kill for free. A little bit of an in-play there. Maybe we got to check somebody else's PayPal after that last play, but not sure what we're doing there on the Bale. You just slow the game down a little bit and play around objectives. You got the lead in jungle. You just need to play around it.
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to get there. I mean, maybe they're trying to play for the advantage and the tempo for the mini or prime, but at the same time, it's like there's no need to do that. You already talked about it. We have the lead. We have everything that we want to do. Just get the prio in, push the lane in, crash it down, and then rotate towards that fight. But it's going to be Chicken here looking for something onto this right-hand side, but I don't think you want to take that fight against Maguli with that low of an HP.
Maguli getting pushed out. I think I would have preferred to see them force the teleport and then try to pull the Fangtooth on spawn. A little bit of a weird play to let Maguli stay in the lane for free and not force the reset or the TP. Little bit of a strange play there, I think, from the side of Cinema. Mercy looking for a gank in the mid. Simba on the Gideon, very hard to gank. Might look for a root, misses. Can't quite find it. Fangtooth coming up. Bale in the dual lane, putting some sword to ass over here. Nobody to really hit, though. Maguli resets. Chicken resets. A little bit of a power spike coming out here.
Yeah, and then it's going to be Shinbi being able to get their first reset. So has first move out of offlane if they choose to go after this Fangtooth. But no, she looks like she's going to go back into her lane, and then Gideon's going to have prio inside the mid as well. So right now for F8, they look like they can technically go after this, but it looks like they just want to farm here, not really get too much. They're waiting for a bigger kind of advantage to really contest one of these. Maybe they're trying to get that pick, but they're going to need to make a move, try and take some vision, take control of this river, and make sure they're able to kind of either counter gank or kind of get to this objective when they need to.
I would like to kind of see them wait for Simba to tick up to level 11 to get that level 2 ultimate. Level 2 getting all very strong in this game. They do have a big lead on Maguli, though. They are just picking it up. Maguli cheesing it through the wall. Great game, by the way. Able to just auto this for free. Kofi on the objective. Should be able to get that one for free. 2-0 to the side of F8. Might be looking like we're having a game 3 here.
It does look that way, but we also said it looks like FA was going to win last game, so I don't want to count Cinema out too much just quite yet. I've doubted Mercy back in my day too many times to know what he is capable of, even if he's just running it. But he's 3-1 right now, so he's looking pretty good. He has a Spell Slasher, so he's going to start to be able to get that proc on top of these fights, so he might be able to do something here. He has to come out to this off lane because BKB cannot be allowed to push here.
BKB getting sucked off right now by the Acheron, ulted back into the tower. He does have mini prime. He could probably trade with the Acheron if he really wants to. Probably not worth it though. He does spot the Argus on the ward, gets stunned out, needs to get his ult off before he goes down. Not quite able to trade with Butters. I think I would have preferred that. Pinzo does get comboed into the Gideon, does trade out mid for solo, but they get the mini prime off the Shinbi, which is a good trade for Cinema in my opinion.
That is a great trade. At least you picked up the mini prime there to be able to get that off of the side of F8, so they can't really take this T1 just quite yet. I'm a little bit worried though for this side of the blue side for Mercy because he just got his 3 camp stolen. He's now looking on the side of Kofi to fight for this blue buff.
Playing the pillar on Mercy, coming out with a sneak attack, a little jump scare on Mercy. Mercy gonna give up this blue buff, already down. Can't really do much about it.
Yeah,
gonna be a mid tower potentially as well. Bale catching that wave, pushing tower under, or pushing wave under tower. Should be a tier 1 tower here. Opens up the map a lot considering it's a mid tower. He didn't decide to push it for some reason though. Definitely could have got that tower for free. Don't know why he didn't do that.
Yeah, maybe he's
Maguli getting gone on here, gets pulled, gets mez. Chicken dashes in, misses the dash though, has to flash out. Maguli goes in, can't quite get the autos though because he's in the ult by Chicken. Mercy here with the cleanup. Maguli
$20.
going back to the base the hard way.
Yep. The hard. It's just a fast back, you know, not really at this point in the stage of the game, but he just wants to get some items on a line quicker than just using that walk all the way there. But Mercy, great pickup, great rotation once again, and I think he's going to be the determining factor. He is behind though in the jungle. While that fight was going on, we saw Kofi pick up his red side for the most part, and he's still so far behind. Kofi being an exceptional jungler right now, going after this seedling here, going to be able to pick up one more before the big shaper arrives in his red side. Free pickets.
Shinbi getting soloed or getting ganked again by Mercy, level 9 to Kofi's level 11. Not really going to be able to kill this guy. Not sure what we're doing over here. Just maybe trying to help out Butters, collect some farm. Butters again going a tank build for whatever reason has catalytic drive. I'm not sure what we're building that for in this matchup. I think you just go full damage and out trade with your healing. Maybe he knows something I don't. Even a Void Helm I think is better. Some anti-heal potentially into the Shinbi matchup. I think this is a little bit of a misplay by Butters.
Yeah, I think he's taking the approach of I just want to be tanky, but at the same time, it's a Shinbi, right? You're just going to be looking, like you said, to kind of just trade damage for damage. And without being able to do that, BKB is just going to be like, oh, you're tickling me. That's fine. I'm going to stay here. As long as she has mana, she's going to be able to proc her abilities with her cooldowns. It's ridiculous. And she's just going to be able to stay here while you just get poked out. You run out of mana before she does, and she gets all the tempo advantage that she needs.
Maguli being very disrespectful on this tower line. Been here all game, dashing into Chicken. Chicken dashes away.
Does not get the pull there to be able to kind of get something there, but Kofi is there, so I feel like Maguli
You see
was
mid lane
like,
going down. 1v1 Pinzo getting the solo bolo onto the Gideon. A little bit of a misplay by Simba there. Might have also been PayPal. It might be everybody on F8 getting PayPal at the same time. Kofi left out of the loop. $0 in the PayPal trying to win. His team trying to lose.
Yeah, and especially a big takedown there. Should be up by time the third Fangtooth of the game is there at F8. They really need to play for that, especially after making those mistakes.
Pinzo getting gone on. Ult.
Oh, no.
Double ult coming out. Pinzo going back to the base. Staggered death. Gonna be up for this third Fangtooth. Actual huge death here coming out the side of Cinema. Might actually throw the third Fangtooth and give F8 the lead that they need to close this one out.
Yeah, you know what? I would say it's a little bit too much there. You got to put a lot of resources in, but like you said, you stagger to death. 20 more seconds till the Argus is even able to come up. They get their resets in. They look after this Fangtooth. They have the numbers advantage and such an important one. Like we're talking about, it's a third Fangtooth. You get that extra 8% damage. You get that extra 8% defense, and you're just able to now really control this game.
We're going to see this 5v4 play here. They're going to have to play this without the Argus. Gideon getting forced to stasis. A little bit of a weird position by him. Or sorry, I don't know what happened there. He just kind of stood still, took half his HP. Fangtooth gonna go down here for the side of Cinema. Mercy gets picked up by the Bale, can't quite ult. Simba panic ulting the Sev, doesn't want to drop the kill, can't quite find it though. Good ult by Chicken to block the swipes from the Bale. Sev goes down to Maguli.
Oh, great pickup there from the side of F8. They get the third Fangtooth, and they pick up a kill, pushing everybody out. They have an opportunity here to go after the mini prime and also just get an entire blue side if they're able to. So if they take this reset, they come back out and look over to that side of the map. There's a lot of farm for them to get and a lot of gold for them to retrieve.
It's definitely looking like a strong position to be in for F8. They do have a lot of prio right now, currently up about 6,000 gold. They did throw a 6,000 gold lead in the last game, but they did not have 3 Fangtooths in that game. So potentially a little bit harder to do so. They also don't quite have the team fight ability on the side of Cinema. They have the Morn still, but they don't quite have that Gideon ult that saved them in the last game. In fact, it's on the other side this time.
Yeah, there's a lot going for F8 that they are looking good and clean for, but there's still potential for somebody to throw. We've already seen, like you said, the Cash App going crazy throughout the side of F8 as Simba is now inside of mid, but here comes Tiny Rampage biting at those ankles.
Big damage coming out of Gideon here. Gonna look for the kill on the pin zone. Not quite able to find the auto attack. Good body block by the Morn to keep his mid laner alive. I'm not sure it's gonna be enough though. Mercy is here trying to save him. Not sure he's going to be able to. Rock comes out. Flash into the 2. Mercy ultimate tower. Tries the body block. Can't quite get the Rampage. He's tanky. He does not care. Chicken on the rotation. Going to get spotted out by the Bale.
Gonna be able to get too much kill potential though. Kofi half health, but like you said, tanky as can be. They picked up 2, so they have the 3v5 to go after this mini prime. It's gonna be a big take. Simba also has to take a reset, so they do have 1 less numbers, but still the number advantage goes to them. And it just looks like on the side of Cinema, they're just not able to create that tempo that they want to. And it doesn't look like they're going to turn this one around because F8 is not letting off the gas at all.
Yeah, it seems like they can't really contest much. They do have the Bale, so it's kind of hard to just go for a 50-50. You will just get picked up like they did on that third Fangtooth. Not really much you do about that as a jungler when your mid laner and your support die like that. You can't really do much. You just kind of have to sit there and farm.
Caked up, fat cheeked motherfucker.
Yeah, kind of back into that farming era. But I mean, this is when we start to say, a lot of times in casting where the game can change at any moment. Yes, you had 3 Fangtooths, but the big objectives are coming on the board. That's going to be the big Orb Prime. And a little bit while later is going to be the Primordial Fangtooth. So there's still a lot of ways for this side. It's Team Cinema to create an opportunity for themselves. Maybe it's going to be F8 that makes another mistake in this game number 2, and maybe potentially give the chance for the Cinema team to get themselves back in, take a big objective, and start to flip the script.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're going to be really able to. They're kind of just playing off the back of F8, seeing if they make a mistake. Not really able to make any plays themselves, just really have to capitalize on the mistake. I don't really think F8's a team to really make that kind of mistake unless Maguli decides to run it down again. But I think he maybe learned his lesson after that first game.
We're hoping that is the case because we definitely want to see a game 3 between these 2 titans of a team. At the same time, we still got to be playing this waiting game because, like we said, we were in that late game. Nobody wants to make a mistake. We seeded last game in game number 1. There's going to be this period where everybody's looking for that positioning, looking for that pick, and trying to get prio over all these lanes. So we're still waiting on that. But it's a Shaper that's going to be picked up by the side of F8, which I think is a good call, making sure they're keeping their tempo that they have throughout this entire game, taking up these objectives, taking those small wins that just eventually lead to where they're at now with 3 Fangtooths, a Shaper buff, and an opportunity to go after this big Orb Prime.
Due to this team comp, they do have the Shinbi on the split push permanently. It's very hard to match that. The only person on that team that can really match that is the Sevarog, who does win the 1v1 against the Shinbi. But if he's at the 1v1 matchup, he can't be there at the objective. They do also have the Rampage to offset the fact that they only have, like, you know, they only have one big guy in front. They got the Bale to pick somebody up, but he's not exactly super tanky as he is building a little bit more damage and is in support, so he's a bit behind. Right. But they do have that front line to make up for it. Kofi looking for the rock, not able to find it.
Yeah, no, I don't have Steph Curry going on right now. It's going to be backed up on the side of Cinema here on these wave states. It's going to be the prio advantage here. They're going to set and start to push back as they're coming back into this, and it's going to be F8, especially being able to just split push like you said. Somebody's going to have to continuously answer that Shinbi. Akron unable to really be in these team fights a lot during this game, and that's one of the big reasons why. But with both Primordial Fangtooth and Big Orb Prime up, they're gonna have to make a decision. FA can control whenever they want to pull these. They're gonna keep the prio up and offlane like they do. Mid lane is set. Now it's gonna be duo set. They're gonna control this river, get the vision up, and it's gonna be the side of a Cinema. It's gonna choose, do I go in for this? Do I in for this? Is there a potential to take it? We don't know. We're just gonna have to find out.
Yeah, they are just going to force them to match the Shimmy in the solo lane. They're going to have to send two. The Butters cannot match this on the Acheron. He will need somebody else to help eventually, or they will just chip down on this tier 1. Sorry, this tier 2.
Yeah. No, we all know what you meant, you know? Sometimes you just gotta,
True, we
like,
see
look
Mornall
at
getting forced here. Wango getting gone on. Might be in trouble here. Maguli in there. Gonna get the execute. Chicken picked up by the Bale. Not in a good spot. Has to use his flash and pacifier to get out of there. Mercy getting gone on by Simba a little bit. Good zone. Free pick onto the Morn. Gonna look to pull the Orb Prime here. They actually should be rotating over. Gonna set that mid wave for them. Dual or solo lane also set for them. They're gonna have 3 waves of prio here and a 4v3. Sorry, 4v5. Chicken half HP. Maybe can lifesteal off the wave. Has to be careful getting picked. Acheron getting gone on here. Stunned. Gonna get double stunned into the kill by Maguli. Dashes in. Might need to ban this pick in the next game. Maguli might have inted it on the first game, but he's looking quite strong on it this game.
Yeah, he's looking like he's trying to make up for those mistakes. Another one bites the dust, gives prio over towards his Primordial Fangtooth. But not only that, once you get this Primordial Fangtooth, you get that Blaze, you're able to just go over to that Big Orb Prime. They cannot take that fight, but it looks like Cinema don't want to give this one for free.
Pinzo getting a lot of free damage here. 6th man going crazy. Mercy getting a lot of poke off here. Mercy with the flash forward, trying to get BKB, not quite able to find it. Shimby getting a lot of value here. Good ult, getting a lot of poke off. Pinzo goes down here. Simba solo ulting one person. Kofi in the back line, eating ass on this rampage. Getting those autos off. Hits the rock. 2 levels up on Mercy. Still looking for the kill. Can't quite find it. Gotta dodge the rock there, or the root. Chicken. Portal up top. Gets caught anyways by the Bale ult. Great game, by the way. Definitely hit him on my screen. Gotta go back to the Orb to the Primal here. Mercy's still alive to maybe contest this with the solo laner. Not sure if they're gonna go for it or if they're just gonna set waves and try to defend this orb, if they're even able to.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to really do anything for that big Primordial, and it's going to be stacked up, and it's still all 5 members of this FA team that's going to be able to pick up that buff. And like we were talking about before, I mean, once you pick up this team fighting buff we call the Primordial Fangtooth, it's just free for you to go after the Big Orb Prime. You get to poke out your enemy for free. All you have to do is set waves, keep your position around that river, make sure they don't have too many ways to enter the pit, and if they do try, that you just poke them out with that Blaze. So right now, this is their game to lose. They cannot throw this one again because Cinema is looking for that mistake.
Yeah, it is important to note Mercy was on F8 in PCC 10. They did win PCC with Mercy just to drop him, as he is dropped from every team, apparently. So now playing the grudge match against his former team, trying to get his lick back. Drop him, you lose. That's typically the saying. Mercy known to win with whatever pickup squad he has, trying to get the back-to-back champs, but can't quite find it yet. As this game is not looking too good. They did win first game, might be looking like a game 3, see if they can bring it back in there. I would like to see maybe an even ban in the next game. This one's not looking good. I can't really see them coming back in this one. They are down 13,000 gold. I think this is the type of game where you just start looking to the next draft.
No, I totally agree with you there. And I also think they kind of need Botters to be in this game. Like we talked about before, he has not really been in this game. And every time he has, he just gets deleted, even with all the tankiness that he's trying to build. They need to pick up a better matchup in that offlane so he's able to kind of facilitate in these fights. We've seen throughout scrims when Butters is on a roll, there's not too much that can stop him. But against BKB, one of the notorious game day players, it's going to be a tough one, but they need to prioritize getting that, taking out Eden from Maguli, giving him something else where he has to stay on, because that ultimate, whenever you want, is kind of criminal. Detective Reset, they haven't really been able to kind of prio all these lanes just quite yet. They set themselves up They do have that Primordial Blaze just for a little bit longer. It is a waiting game. We're looking here for any opportunity. There's still 5 members up. There's still 3 T2s up for the side of Cinema, so they have some things to buy time. They're going after the Shaper here, which is a little bit questionable due to the fact that they still have the Primordial Blaze. Maybe look to take down a T1, tier 2 or so, and then being able to push. But them getting the Shaper still allows for them to get that Shaper buff to be able to stop the towers from attacking as fast, getting that slower attack speed on that Yin and whoever tries to attack there. But it's going to be the mid lane and the off lane that's going to be prioritized here. Looks like they're going to take another reset, maybe come back, push all these lanes at once with this buff, but they need to make a move here on the side of F8. They have 4 Fang Tooths, they have the big Orb Prime. Primordial Blaze has now been left out of there. It's going to be a big 5-man group up. Shinbi on the split push, and nothing yet for the side of this F8 team to really take claim of this game. They're stalling out. Sevarog is going to be able to scale into this late game, and so is this Yin. And right now, Cinema is doing a great job of biding that time. And I mean, this is what they want to do. They want to be able to take those boss off, being able to continue that fight. But with this wave crashing in, it looks like they might be able to take this engage. Kofi lining up the rock. The tier 2 goes down.
Should be on the split, getting the dual lane tier 2 as well. Gonna be a little bit weird defense. Looking to see Greg maybe look for an engage off of Mornalt, potentially looking for a Sevarog ult. He can also bat the wave to insta-clear a wave and then try to take a fight somewhere. It is a low cooldown as he does have shoulder pads. Simba looking maybe for an ult.
They baited the Mornalt there. A little bit rough.
Free Mornalt coming out of Wangle, still getting those heals going. Pinzo getting poked out a little bit. Big pull on a Maguli, a little bit of poke there. Shinbi still on that split push. Somebody has to match that. Nobody really can. Just going to be on the Sevarog to kind of clear the wave, I think. Might have to waste his ult just for that. Rock on the Acheron. Going to be taking a lot of poke. Get knocked up here. Poke from Shinbi. Big damage coming out here. Still not quite able to break the base. They're getting very little damage on these inhibs as Maguli is just trying to hit players. They are going to get mid here, though. Chicken with a good ult, trying to slow it down. Not sure it's going to be enough. They do lose the inhib, but they only lose 1. Considering they were down double buff plus Shaper, could be a lot worse. It's also mid inhib, the best inhib to lose. If you're going to lose one, it's the easiest wave to set. They're trying to siege this duo tier 2, but their prime's about to run out. This could be a really big mistake here from F8.
Yeah, it could be, but they look like they heard you, so they're going to try and run up. The Dreadnought does not hit there, so he's going to have to get out. They did get the mid-inhib, but the Primordial Fangtooth is now up. It's going to be come down towards this side of Cinema. They have to set these waves
wave cryo here too. Butter's on the other side of the map having to defend this tier 2. They might still lose it. This could be a free opportunity to pull Primal here. But on the side of Cinema, they do got that tanky Sevarog. Going to be really hard to stop him from just buying time in the pit. Gonna just be a reset. Yeah. Butters, I don't think fully set that wave. I think that wave is still set against them. Let me go into the drone cam real quick and see if that wave is tagged. I don't think it is. I think that's still against them. It is. No, it is in their favor. Okay.
We're chilling, we're vibing.
Very close, very close. You never know. Sometimes the waves bounce a little weird, and you don't quite get the freeze that you thought you did, and then you lose an inhib. Game is over. We're going to send this Shinbi to split push. Not really easy for Cinnamon to really pull any objectives, so they're just going to force the split, and nobody can match the Shinbi at this point in the game. She will win every 1v1, except for maybe the Sevarog. So kind of on Cinnamon to look for a pick, but who do you really go on the Rampage? You are never killing that guy.
Yeah, no, and it's going to be tough too because the middle inhibitor is down, so they have a free kind of just split push coming out of the super minions, and Kofi knows it. He sees that somebody answers the Shinbi. This is their chance. They're going to go after that Primordial Fangtooth.
They do know that it's going on, though. It is going to be 10k. We'll see if they get down here in time. Wangle going to probably have to ult and get vision on it because they don't really have timer. Mercy does see that they're on it. It's going to be low HP. Mercy can't really go for the steal. He's going to get ulted by the Bale. He does flash through. Mercy doesn't quite get the steal. Unfortunately, it was a good attempt, but not enough on the end of that one. Lived at 100 HP off the smite. You hate to see it, but I respect the play.
You gotta respect it, and Shinbi does not respect anybody right now as she is just
Shinbi is 1v5ing in the back. Might actually be able to kill Pinzo off the ult if he uses it. Ulted a little bit late. Pinzo gonna live 1 HP, get shielded by the support. Heals coming up, 4 down on the side of Cinema. Gonna go in. Kofi goes down to Butters, though. Butters not quite able to defend this, I don't think. It is just Primal. They don't have Prime. Simba with the ult. Gonna finish this one out. Should be a free game. If they lose at this point, I don't know what to tell you. F8 on top, 1-1 right now. Couple different picks here. Howitzer coming out for the first time. Counter matchup in mid lane. Pinzo going the heal augment. I think this is a major mistake by Pinzo here, not to go the cooldown augment on the Fae. This might be a game-losing mistake in my opinion. Butters on the Sevarog in solo lane, probably going to perform a little bit better this game. In the Acheron. Acheron going that push augment again. Kofi with the cooldown augment, kind of an interesting choice. Don't think it's really the best. Mind augment onto Simba. We've only seen the ult augment so far. A little bit interesting of a choice here. And then we see fourth shot augment for Revenant. First time we've seen him in the tournament. Chicken on Eden. First time we've seen Chicken play this pick. See if he can actually perform about as good as Maguli was.
Yeah, I mean, let's see if he's able to come back there with that. But like I said, I think the most interesting thing is seeing Maguli here on the Revenant. We know the Revenant can do some crazy things, especially having that ultimate to be able to put himself in a 1v1 situation, and he does chunk that Eden a lot. I think it's a really good counter pick towards the Eden, especially considering the nerfs that Eden got. So if anybody's going to be able to do it, it's going to be that character.
Yeah, we do see Mercy on the Zarus, one of his best picks. Some would say his best pick. Does go the scaling augment, unlike somebody we saw earlier not going the scaling augment. Regretted it. We do see Mercy starting blue side, though, which is a little bit surprising. Not sure why he's doing this. Maybe it's because he knows he has a weak side solo with the Sevarog. Not really expecting to do anything over there anyways. Potentially looking to gank duo early. Mercy, notorious duo lane ganker, will sit at the fog wall for 35 seconds waiting for you to step up. Does not care how much time it takes him. He will gank your lane.
He definitely will gank your lane just because of that. I mean, he's just one of those, especially on Zarus, is like, I feel like this is his comfort pick where he's just able to kind of just be like, you know what, I can be as aggressive as I want. I have a little bit more mobility, and I'm able to also use the verticality with that mobility now, with that change that came with it in the last patch or so.
Yeah, we do see duo lane kind of going in the favor of Chicken this time. First time we've actually seen that. Chicken up 200 gold at the moment. Force Maguli to back early game. Also, Argus support, a little bit interesting. Have not seen that yet in the tournament. Not sure if it's even that good. I know some teams think Argus in general is really strong, but I'm not sure he is actually a good pick.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he is good when it comes down to certain matchups, but if anybody that can really kind of just play whatever mid they want and kind of utilize it, I feel like it is going to be this Simba here, but it's going to be the dual lane getting a little bit pressurized. But Wangle onside the Argus, I feel like it's good against the Morn when he pushes up to be able to utilize that Dreadnova, get at least a little stun off, maybe use that Ether Crystal to pop up and kind of create some space. So we got to see how he's able to play it. I know I talked to him a little bit. He likes the comfortability of it against
Mercy
the Morn.
with the 1v1 against the Shibby. Should be able to get this kill. Kofi actually having to flash away. Mercy holding on to his. I do kind of dislike the fact that Mercy did start this blue side, kind of giving the Sevarog the short end of the stick. Already going to lose the early game. BKB kind of trolling, though, as he's trying to take this 3 camp. Not going to be able to even do it. Going to actually reset the HP on it and waste some more time. This is not a great play, in my opinion.
No, not a great play indeed. He does get at least 1 minion, but he just has no mana. This kind of messes up his entire tempo here. Seb's going to come back to this lane, being able to control it however he wants to. Meanwhile, BKB has to back. And at the same time, it's going to be where that dual lane, they're going to have the tempo as well to be able to push out that lane and get the first reset, possibly going towards that first Fangtooth.
Yeah, they're definitely both clearing towards that side. Maybe that's why Mercy had started on the blue side to begin with, was to be there for Fang on spawn. They should have high prio in both lane, mid, and duo, considering they have counter matchup in mid and the double ranged in duo. Potentially maybe looking for an early Fangtooth at 5 minutes. Butters,
if it's Mercy,
over for the seedling. Curious if they'll give this to Butters for the stacks.
Knowing Mercy, probably not. He's a greedy boy, probably trying to hit that level 6 as soon as possible for that Fangtooth. I would prioritize that, and he does end up taking it in because he is big old Mercy himself.
See if they maybe look for double seedling here. Simba with a ward on the seedling right now. Kopi looking for a dual lane gank potentially. He is playing Shimby though. Not really sure what we're doing on the gank at Shimby. We're just going to kind of watch them walk away from us as we don't really have any lockdown. Very farm-oriented pick. Needs to scale a little bit, but is very strong in the late game. Still surprised he went the cooldown Aug over the Dash Aug. It'd be a lot harder for him to get some big ults off in team fights. Kofi getting yanked by the Faye ultimate, getting pulled back, and actually goes down. A little bit of a mistake here on the side of F8. I think their draft is a little weak.
Yeah, I don't even think that's a little mistake at all. I think that's pretty big, especially when you had Pryor over that river. You give up first Fangtooth, now you're down. I mean, this is a great pick, though, right? You already utilized getting the blink earlier on, so you know if you get a stun, you know you get that lockdown. That is just a free kill. I think that's just a bad play on Kofi there. He knew his blink was down, and he just kind of kept pressing without a lot of his team there.
Yeah, I think this game is really going to come down to whether or not Simba can play the game in the later stages. Maguli able to one-shot some people, probably going to get zoned out by the Sev in most fights, but Kofi going to be really hard for him to actually get value in this game. So anytime you try to play the game, you're going to get Faye ulted. I'm curious if he's going to go Stasis. He does have that Wizard Crest, so I think he will. I don't know how much value that's actually going to be, though, as you're going to get followed up by an Argus stun as soon as you come out of it.
Yeah, maybe you're able to buy some time. Maybe your team makes a play right. There's just so much maybes, and that's why I feel like there's just really not a lot of value inside that epoch. Maybe on some characters like the Gadget, the Howie, right, to be able to utilize, or just be able to drop that Tesla Dome. But on that Shinbi, I feel like you just kind of put yourself in a bad position because you dash in. Yeah, you have a second dash now, but it's not a great distance for you to get out of dodge when you need to after that epoch.
Would you see Seedling going over the side of Cinema yet again? Bit of a gold lead here for for Cinema, up about 1,000 gold right now. Nothing too significant yet, but it could start getting there if they keep letting these objectives go away. 600 gold lead in mid lane, pretty much most of the gold lead just in mid. A little bit surprising to see that considering it's been the opposite for the last 2 games.
I mean, you know, it's game 3. This is where you got to put everything out there. It seems like Cinema finally found their algorithm here when it comes to picking their draft against F8. They realize within the first 2 games, it's going to be that early game that where F8 wins, right? They kind of just take a big lead and they control that through it. Luckily, in game number 1, they're able to come back from it on the side of Cinema, but maybe Cinema was just like, hey, you know what? Let's just start strong this time. They picked up the Faye, picked up the Zars, which I really do like their team comp a little bit more just going into this game, and it might look good for them, especially they have the first Fangtooth going to their side and the first blood.
Did you see Pinzo electing to probably go Orb of Growth, so he's going to go the full tank build? Not quite sure I like it, but it is like decent into the Shinbi, so you don't get one shot. Argus actually goes down here in the duo lane. Rev going to pick up that one in his ult potentially and actually get some extra gold value. Not sure what happened over there. Probably just got pulled into a root. Can't really use your little legs to dance out of there and don't really have much mobility on that character.
Not a lot of mobility, and that's the big drawback. Yeah, you have a little bit of CC, you have that Ether Crystal, kind of maybe play around, have that kind of burst damage, but yeah, once you take away that mobility from him, get him inside close range, he really has nowhere to go unless he has that blink. So great pick up there from the side of F8 to keep themselves in this game. But look at Mercy already on top to go over towards this mini prime. He has Prio in the off lane with Sev being able to push that wave up, and here comes the mid laner on the Fade to be able to help as well. So should be the second objective going towards Team Cinema, trying to keep control of this game when it comes down to the objective
really
side.
Dislike Mercy smiting that. I think he should have gave that to the Sev. I think Sev with Mini can actually win the matchup against the Acheron, especially since the Acheron has the push augment and does not have the execute augment, or sorry, the suck augment with the web. So he can't get an execute onto the Sev. I think you give him the mini prime there just so he can get some stacks and scale up. Fangtooth is down for a while, won't be up while you have Fang. Butters securing the mini, or securing the Cyan buff over BKB. A little bit of a win there in the solo lane.
Yeah, I mean, that is a small win that you like to have inside that offlane, right? Being able to fight over that Cyan buff is why ADCs fight over that gold buff, right? Just that small mental win to be able to kind of keep your lane prio, especially getting a little bit extra mana with Sevarog, especially earlier on, to keep yourself into that lane and keep your health topped up.
Mercy in the jungle, looking for a pick, possibly going on to Kofi. Kofi, hard character to kill, a lot of shielding. Does elect to go Mask, or Spirit of Amir, if you will. Interesting choice, not my favorite, but it does help your clear speed a little bit. Getting a good picture of what we want to see. Look over to Revenant in the dual lane. Mercy still lurking on the fog wall, as he does. Sitting on a ward, doesn't know. Has figured it out. Catches Kofi in the jungle again. Still spotted. About a half-level lead for Mercy right now. Just kind of waiting for this mini, or not this mini, this Fangtooth. He does have mini prime though, still getting a little bit of poke. Great trade by Mercy right there to poke out Kofi before the objective. I wish I was better at using my camera skills, but I'm not.
It's all good, man. You're doing like 500 things at once, but like you said,
Do you
great
see this objective being pulled? They do have the Fae ultimate. This should be free. There is no cleanses yet on the other side. Chicken has pacifier. Stun coming out. Fae looking for a big ult here. Only catches one on the support. Good damage, though. They do have healing. Chicken dashes in. Fiki 1 HP. Argus dead. Actual winning trade for FA right now. Mercy 1 HP. The Butters is here. He's going to go down, though. BKB has showed up and is throwing his dick around. Puts Butters into base.
Oh, man, we're going to be able to capitalize on a lot there. We thought that poke was going to be enough, but huge rotation there and a lot of damage translation. I think the biggest part was the fact that Faye was only able to get the support there on that and was still not being able to kill. And just like you said, great rotation there from BKB, being able to swing that thing around.
He's just able to lock it down. You know, some say Acheron has 8 legs, but BKB is showing him the 9th. Not much you can do about it when this guy is swinging it around so long.
But you're able to pick up a kill there on the side of Simba, so at least
they do pick up Simba. But they do lose that Fangtooth, and we've seen how impactful the Fangtooths have been in this game. F8 did lose the game where they gave up 1, but when they got 3, it was looking pretty easy for them.
Pretty easy indeed, but still a lot to go here. Something we talked about earlier that you mentioned was this scaling on Kofi here. I think within the next 3 to 4 minutes or so, he's going to be able to start to really dive that back line, hopefully take out either the Fate, take out the Argus out of that fight, and kind of give them a numbers advantage into it.
Wangle with the gank on a BKB. BKB kind of poked out here, gets rooted. Several could look for the play here. Will Wangle hit the snipes? He does. 3 for 3. Get that, man. He's locked in. I don't even know what I'm going to say, bro. He's Chris Kyle. He's hitting those snipes. Big rotation by Wangle. Shutting down BKB. Giving Butters a chance to play the game finally.
Hey, he finally gets to be able to be a character.
Take a look at the gold differential here. Wangle up 400 gold. Chicken down 500. Mid lane, 800 gold difference for the side of Cinema. Jungle, 300 gold for the side of Cinema as well. Solo lane, down a little bit. Not too much of a difference here, about an 800 gold lead for Cinema. Wouldn't say that's a very impactful difference, but it is a slight advantage.
Hey, a little advantage can lead to a bigger advantage throughout the game, right? If you're slowly building up that lead, I mean, within the next couple of minutes, we might see a 1K to 2K goal lead if that keeps to progress in that way. So can't really count it out right away just because it's not as impactful at that current point, but it's all about keeping that tempo and pacing throughout your lanes. But Pinzo, let's be a little bit careful here.
Definitely has some people rotating through his lane. Should be looking to go duo lane. Simba level 11 here. Kofi maybe looking for a gank. Chicken takes out Maguli. Is full HP. Maguli not getting any return damage off. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe greeting. Maybe caught on window shopping. I'm not quite sure. But that's a free kill for the side of Chicken.
I mean, Chicken is doing to him. Controller players rise up. I mean, you can't miss an auto if it's in the system. But with Mercy over here, they could potentially look to dive this. They do have a lot of resources utilized. Kofi missing out on a lot of farm as well. So hopefully they're able to play something here. Maybe be able to take down at least this tier 1 on the side.
Wangle looking for some poke on OKC. Kofi still here. Wangle gonna have to flash away. Fiki, aka OKC. Gonna miss the mez. But he's more than happy with that, taking the flash. Simba on the rotation, though, looking for a little boot. Not quite able to find it. Chicken dashes away. Going to be on the Meteor map this game. A little bit more space to play with. Not sure if that's better or worse for either team. I think that's probably better for the side of F8, in my opinion.
I think a lot of the big things I like about the Cataclysm here onto this map is the fact that you're able to utilize the Shaper to get those ceilings, to create the different pryos, start to really push those waves. And I feel like that is going to be a big important part onto the ice map. The slowing and the turret tower, yeah, is impactful, but really being able to kind of prioritize these lanes, being able to get the ceilings to help out, I think is really going to play a big part. But like you said, it does kind of favor the side of F8 here, what they're trying to do. But at the same time, if they do mess up and give that away, that's going to create a lot of tempo change for the side of Cinema.
Yeah, we do see a terrible pickup here, in my opinion, from Pinzo getting Cresselia. I thought this was going to be an Oathkeeper, but it's actually a Cresselia 45 power item. Not exactly a good item, especially if it's hard to get those auto attacks off. And I don't really know who you want to auto on the enemy team to get that reset. I think it's a little bit of a misbuy here from Pinzo. Maybe feeling himself a little bit, using a build that's a little outdated and has been for some time. If that was an Oathkeeper, I would be loving this.
Oh man, I mean, you know what? He might be trying to be the next person to be able to bring it back. You know, maybe he knows something that we don't, especially with the healing almond as well in there. Maybe he's just trying to be a support secondary inside that team fight, and maybe Mercy is the one that's going to be able to carry this game.
See a little bit of a 1v1 in the duo lane. Maguli, pacifier, getting a lot of damage off on a Chicken. Has to reload though. Doesn't realize he's out of bullets. Gets the ult on Chicken, missing his shots. Chicken almost getting the turnaround. Maguli half HP here. I would like to see some anti-heal come out from the side of Cinema. Yet again, we're just seeing no anti-heal being built. Wangle trying to get into it, but Pinzo still no anti-heal. Tainted Blade for Mercy, but it's single target damage mostly for him. And nothing coming out of the ADC or the Soul Liner for anti-heal. You are against this Morn. This Morn is making an impact with these heals. You need to get some anti-heal for that. BKB with a big push in the back line. Going to push 3 off. Looking for Butters with the 3 in the back. BKB buying a lot of space, doing a lot of damage. Gonna pick up the second Fangtooth for F8, third Fangtooth of the match. Fiki looking for some zones, trying to get a pull. Gotta be careful of the Fey ult here. BKB zoning, looking to poke out the Sevarog. A lot of damage coming out. Fey ult expended onto Maguli, not getting a kill though. Fey actually might be in trouble. Simba walking up. Fey picks up Revenant, but Wangle does go down. Simba with a good stasis, gets a lot of value off. Chicken is alive though. Simba does get over the wall, is gonna find Butters with his ult, has to be careful of Pinzo. Big missile by Simba with the trade on the other mid laner. 4 for 2 trade. Massive play by Simba to get 2. Chicken forced to flash away. 1 HP. Gonna get gone on here by BKB. Cannot. Ult doesn't have enough energy. Is gonna go down here. 5 for 3 trade. Massive trade by Simba to live there with the stasis value. Ends up getting over the wall. Picks up 2 before he goes down.
Stasis value, like I said on the Howie, is a different game changer. But my God, what a play there from F8 to be able to turn that fight around. Just a little bit too much of an aggression there from the side of a Cinema. They thought they had that win, but they just got collapsed on. Great rotation, great pickup, and my goodness, like I said, what a play from Simba there to be able to get that fight to be in a winning favor for this side of F8.
I think that fight is carried a little bit by the Morn heals, keeping Simba alive, healing him up while he's stasis. I think it's also carried a little bit by the fact that Pinzo does have this Cresselia. If he had anti-heal, that might have been a little bit of a different fight. Also, if he had a little bit more power, as 45 power was not enough to put down the Revenant immediately off the ult. If he had 75 power item, Oathkeeper, or something else that had a little bit more power on it, he probably would have killed the Revenant immediately in that fight off that ultimate, and it probably would have been a completely different game.
Yeah, but you know what you say, you make a mistake, you got to live with it, and that is what Pinzo has to do right now. He has to start to build into that power like you're talking about, but once that overgrowth gets online, maybe he's playing for a little bit of that later matchup, but Rev also scales pretty well, and he's going to start to be able to chunk you out, and that's going to be a problem, especially into that Sev as well.
It is important to note, Maguli big ult to dodge the cage from the Zarus, actually going to pick up the Argus for free. It is important to note Maguli does not have cleanse, so he can't cancel this Fey ultimate. Might be a mistake by him, but his ult does cleanse, so if you're able to get your ult off before the Fey ult, you can cleanse it. A little bit risky though, 2 for 1 trade there for the side of Cinema. A little bit of an int from the duo lane of F8.
Yeah, and I mean, this gives them the opportunity to go after the Shaper as well, to be able to create that prio inside these lanes, but it's like they're going to go after the mid lane here and just kind of push this one out and open the map up just a little bit more.
On the flip side, Simba's over here in the duo lane, getting a free tier 1. Gonna trade ult for stasis on Pinzo. Pinzo does not have ult, but he is the Fey. You gotta be careful. Big hitbox on the Howie. Good juke from him. Able to use those geysers to get out of there.
Oof, man, Pinzo almost did it to him.
Trying to bait for the Kofi. BKB also on the other side of the map, playing the option. If he does TP over, BKB might just get a free kill here. A little bit of comms differential. He's actually a little scared of trying to kill Pinzo here and then TPing out. Just gonna elect to walk away.
Yeah, I mean,
so good.
He probably just saw numbers over there on that side. He was like,
I think you just play the TP and then you TP out after, or your team comes over with you. I think that's a little bit of a misplay there. I think a little miscommunication. Maybe just scared of the fight. I'm not sure. I do think they were in a position that they could have collapsed on that Fey there pretty easily.
Yeah, but you got that dog in you. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. But BKB's got that 9th leg. Gonna pick up the Shaper right here. 5v3 situation right now as the Sevarog and the Eden are late to this. This should be down before any fight actually happens. BKB looking to poke out. The Zarus not really able to get much here. Kofi still on the objective. They're leashing it. Pinzo trying to get some trade-off damage. Objective goes the way of F8. BKB uses ult on nobody. Tries to push the Faye back into the team. Sev dashing it on Simba. Simba alive. Stasis value. Mercy ults nothing. Chicken in trouble. Does have ult in a second though. Simba still free casting. Has ultimate. Not able to hit anybody. Wangle getting poked out. Chicken goes down. Wangle goes down. 4 for nothing with the objective going the way of F8. This is awful news for Cinema.
And that T1's going to go down in mid. Meanwhile, the rest of the lanes are pushing just as well, and it could not have happened at a worse time. The big Orb Prime is up, and this is going to be a 21-minute Orb Prime. Unless Mercy can somehow find a steal, but it does not look like it.
This does look pretty grim for Cinema. They might be bombing at the box office this game. Does not seem great. Great set so far. Game 3. First Orb Prime going the way of F8. Primal Fang about to respawn. Also their 3rd Fang Tooth. If they're not able to defend this on the side of Cinema, I don't see how they can come back into this game.
Yeah, I mean, right now, F8 has everything that they need to do to end this game within the next 2 to 3 minutes. They get Primordial Fangtooth. They have Orb Prime for a long time. And it's still at the same time, Cinema has to answer these seedlings. They're pushing this lane, and this is going to create so much opening because everybody's going to show up on the map. Argus on the opposite side. This is a free Primordial Fangtooth if I've ever seen one. But maybe Mercy could show us something.
We do see BKB on the split push, though, so this will be a little bit of a 4v5 if the Argus rotates over. We do know that we do see everybody having flash up for this fight. Last fight, no flash is really Chicken, the only one that doesn't have flash this fight, along with Kofi. Everybody else has flash and ultimate. Going to be a big team fight here, though. BKB on that split push. Somebody's going to have to answer that. He does have mini prime as well. Or sorry, Orb Prime. Big cage by Mercy onto 2. Not quite able to get any kills. Pinzo misses ult. Kofi getting some damage off. BKB still on that split push. If they just stop backs, they win the game here. Maguli picks up Mercy in the back. Pinzo 1 HP trying to trade. Butters actually ends up finding Maguli. Chicken in trouble, getting ran down by Fiki. Dashes into the tower. Not sure that's the play. Gets pulled back. Fiki putting it back to the base. BKB ending the game. Faye actually going to get a reset off here. A little bit of a misplay by F8 to allow in the back. They definitely could have ended the game had they not. I don't think F8 actually is able to do this now. Unless he's able to one-shot Pinzo here, maybe. Off the push. Going to force the stasis. Might still be able to kill him here. Body block is almost good. Not quite able to get the damage. Can maybe still end the game, though. I'm not sure if Pinzo has the wave clear. BKB still going for it. Not able to get it. Ends up being a 4 for 2. And they lose an inhib, but they don't lose Primal Fangtooth, which is important. They will be up earlier, though, as the Sev and Argus did stagger their deaths. Should be a free Primal, but the Orb will not be up when they siege the inhibs.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit of a misplay there. Unable to get that Faye. Maguli tried his best, but the best thing I liked about that fight was they at least got something out of it. They knew that Akron was split pushing. They're like, you know what? We just got to take this fight, at least try and stop as many back as possible. So they're able to still get some type of tempo advantage out of that play that they just made. And now they should be able to get this Primordial Fangtooth. They just got to keep zoning, spacing here, and just wait.
Just got to wait for the waves. That's really all you got to do is just wait for the wave on the right side. It will be auto pushing for them now. I do kind of dislike the play there by Cinema. Mercy had a big cage, no follow-up though. Not sure why that happened. Mercy, good cage on a 2, 0 follow-up. I think that was the biggest problem in that last fight. I think the play was good. His team just wasn't close enough. They don't really have dashes like that.
It's not seeing the vision, you know, they're just not able to see what Mercy is seeing. But yeah, I think that was definitely there. If their Faye Fly Trap was up and ready to go, maybe potentially getting an early pick off or translating a lot of damage to turn that fight in your favor and still be able to reset and get back to that inhib. But with Primordial Blaze over to the side of F8, this is all for them to keep this tempo up. They cannot let Cinema do anything inside their jungle. They need to get rid of these T2s and start applying some really good pressure. I want to see BKB kind of get out of this off lane and into a little bit more of the fight.
Yeah, I agree with you there, F6. The one good thing about that fight is that it did delay their prime long enough, so they're only going to be able to push with 1 buff at a time, which is pretty nice at least.
Yeah, and like at least a small win for the side of Cinema, but at the same time, they're still a little bit too far behind, in my opinion, especially with that third Fangtooth pickup on the Primordial there for the side of F8. But it looks like they are converging. You know, F8 finally starting to put a little bit of pressure on BKB. I still need you to rotate outside of that lane. I know you kind of want to create a little bit of like, hey, you got to answer me over on this side or lose it out onto the opposite side of the end.
Yeah,
Does look like they're gonna take their time though.
Yeah, they're definitely going to slow push here. I don't think you really push much. You're just going to try to get tier 2s here. I think Inhib's a little greedy unless you end up getting a pick. Maguli in the jungle. Rotating in the mid. They should just let the Shimby split push here, and they're just kind of trying to get tier 2s, keep pressure up for this Orb Prime. I don't think they get Inhibs here unless they get a pick. Mercy kind of pushed up. He can get collapsed on here in this tier 2. He's not as safe as he thinks he is.
He is not in the
Gets pulled by the horn, gets poked out a little bit. Mini Primal on him. I'm not sure why we didn't collapse through the mid lane here behind the tier 2. It definitely could have been a setup play for them had they been paying a little bit more attention.
They do still have to take care of that T2 inside the dual lane. And yeah, like I said, all that pressure that they had just now just completely thwarted. They weren't able to capitalize on Mercy. They get the T2s, but now they have to kind of not make a mistake here because the big Orb Prime is coming up next. So they need to kind of just take a reset, take the gold, maybe clear out some of this jungle that's left up here, try and take away from Mercy even inside this late game. Get the big Orb Prime and potentially try and siege push out here, get these inhibitors down, but I still think it's going to be pretty rough for them to end this game unless they get a pick.
You fucking gigantic, caked up, fat cheeked motherfucker.
Shaper's going to be the next move though. They're looking to take this one down. I mean? That should also help them get Prio over this big Orb Prime, get a little bit more gold inside their pockets, and look back over towards this big Orb Prime and let that one ride on out. I hope they don't take too much time though to really go after this. I feel like they should just pounce on this as soon as possible. The seedlings are going to push the way for you. It's going to create a lot of pressure inside the opposite side of the map over inside that dual lane to give you the advantage, and somebody's going to have to answer that or they do lose an inhib. But right now looks like F8 just all on the left hand side of the map. They kind of need to converge themselves over towards the right.
Yeah, we see a little bit of prio push out here. It is like a good spot for Cinema to actually defend in, though, as they do have the one inhib down, but it's on the side of the objectives. So they're able to be able to push out those waves pretty easily, along with the Sevarog able to just ult the siege minion. So it's just going to clear waves very fast. He's going to get a lot more stacks that way, and they're going to actually be able to kind of defend this one. Simba setting the wave into a lane, but Wangle's here to defend as well. Should set up a slow push if he can, and get a little bit of advantage on that side of the map to counteract the inhib on the other side.
Yeah, with the inhibits back up, and that's why I kind of wanted Howie not to set that wave, is to create a little bit more space and a little bit more timing, because the Argus wouldn't have stepped up too much inside that mid lane, but now they're going to be going after this big Orb Prime. But I don't know if they should make this, because I think the Argus does reach here in time and just got to stall.
They are going to try to pick this up a little bit. Butter's getting poked out quite a lot here. Not looking good for him. Gonna have to go back to base and heal. OKC also kind of poked out, but he is Morin. Orb Prime going the way of F8. Just kind of for free. Nobody really wanting to contest. Getting zoned out on both sides. Just need to make a decision. Seems like they're just going to back up and maybe try to defend Primal. Might be a little bit of a better position, but they're also walking into a worse path as you have to come all the way down those steps to check the objective.
Yeah, this one's going to be really tough here for them, especially when you think about the kind of control that they have here with the Revenant ultimate. Even if Mercy tries to go in there, he's easy just going to get revolted out of there, and as well as the Morn being able to apply a lot of CC. If anybody tries to go and play in a tight space, that Mez could be able to capture a lot of people into a lot of burst damage coming in from that Howie.
See a little setup here, looking for some poke. Simba getting away with a little bit of murder. BKB on the split push again, trying to end the game with that Prime. Wangle might not be able to really defend this one, as they do have Orb. He is a mage, though, so he has some wave clear.
He should be able to at least stop the game from ending, but at the same time, they're giving up a lot here, going over towards the Primordial Fangtooth. It's going to be a big fight there. They're looking at it. They're trying to get the commotion. BKB trying to push out the split lane. 1K.
Did Butters steal that? I think he did. Butters actually got the objective there. A little bit of a miss smite by Kofi. It might be costing the game here. They do pick up at least 3 down on the side of Cinema, but they do have Primal Fangtooth. I think they still in the game here off that, but might be a little bit of a misplay there. could cost them a game in the future if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I still think they do end here. They do have the wave clear, but I don't think they have the numbers to really facilitate for them to be able to take this defensive off here. They take down the middle inhibitor. Right one's already down as well. And with the Ore Prime, they should be able to close this one out. It's going to be an ultimate here from Howie. Comes in, makes it rain, and that's going to be another one. 2 bans.
A little bit of stat
5.
padding. Butters with the big steal, but not quite enough to win the game, unfortunately. F8 go up 2-1 to Cinema. A little bit of a back-and-forth game there. Again, Cinema kind of on the back foot all 3 games, but they were able to fight back in that game 1. Not quite able to do the same in the next 2. Just kind of let the game get a little bit too away from them.